Well, I am woke now, and I can prove it. Here you go. I love illegal immigrants. Yeah, sue me now. Sometimes I go down to Dover for the day, right? And I look out, right? I look for a boat, and I see a dinghy with about 60 of them, and I go over here, like, right? And I pull them into shore, and I go, women and children first. They go, there are no women and children. Just you lads, is it? Just come on, lads. Come on, lads.
I'm woke now, and here's why. You ever been to Dover for the day? It's one of those places where you just stop, look out, and you see all sorts of boats. Sometimes I spot a dinghy packed with about 60 people, and I'm like, all right, I've got this. I rush over, pull them in, and say, women and children first. And they're like, there are no women or kids, just us guys. And I'm thinking, all right, come on, lads. But here's the real story. Ricky J is done with Hollywood.
To a 7-year-old, right? But this is what she came up with. She said, because there's a man going round and he's cutting little boys' willies off.
Just whispering his thoughts behind closed doors. No, he's stepping up to the biggest names in the business, calling them out directly, loud and clear. A British-American comedian with a knack for sharp, witty humor, Ricky has consistently made headlines for his no-holds-barred takes on woke culture and the hypocrisy he sees in Hollywood. Whether it's on stage, social media, or in interviews, he doesn't shy away from calling it like he sees it. No filters, no apologies. One of the things that really gets under Ricky's skin is how celebrities and influencers...
Wellness and beauty influencer. As a celebrity, I know all about stuff, like science and politics. So trust me when I tell you who you should vote for. If you don't vote the right way, it's like a hate crime. It makes me sad and angry, and I'll leave the country.
...views on the rest of us. Sure, everyone's entitled to their opinions, but it's the smug way they try to force those opinions on their fans that rubs him the wrong way. He's got a way of hilariously poking fun at this trend, especially when it comes to Hollywood stars putting on a show, pretending to be the moral compass for the rest of the country. It's not just funny, it's a brilliant commentary on how out of touch these celebrities are with real Americans. Take this short...
do a university degree course in Taylor Swift. How fucking low academically.
...where he mimics a celebrity influencer talking about politics. In less than 30 seconds, he nails the tone of someone who's too woke for their own good, saying things like, trust me, I know science and politics. If you don't vote my way, that's a hate crime. And if you don't, I might just leave the country. It's a satire, sure, but the point is loud and clear. These celebrities are manipulating their platforms, pushing their political views as if they somehow know better than the rest of us. And don't get Ricky...
are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world, people from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Look, talking of all you perverts, it was a big year for paedophile movies.
On Taylor Swift. He's not shy about calling out the pop star and others like her, showing how these woke performers use their influence to shove their politics down our frustration with the woke trend. You've heard of it by now, right? The Taylor Swift university degree? I mean, how low can we go academically? It's like they're trying to convince us that this is serious education. You know the world is changing when that's an option. Ricky J first really shook things up with his unforgettable Golden Globe speech, where he didn't mince words about Hollywood stars pushing their political...
Oh, big backlash. People going, you can't say that. You can.
He called it like he saw it. Most of these people know nothing about the real world outside their glittering bubble of fame and fortune. For years now, Ricky's been using his razor-sharp sense of humor to take aim at what he sees as the hypocrisy of woke culture, urging these celebrities to stick to entertaining their audiences, not lecturing the rest of us on how we should live our lives. But it's not just the stars in front of the cameras he's calling out. He's taking aim at the people behind the scenes, too. At the Golden Globes, Ricky said, "In this room, we've got some of the most..."
Before a day after the Golden Globes, and that was saying her old name, and even acknowledging that she used to be a man. But she did. I saw him on the Olympic Games. It was It was decathlete.
People from all walks of life. But one thing they all have in common? They're all terrified of Ron and Pharaoh. He had the crowd in stitches, but the point was clear. Stop being so scared of pushing boundaries and say what's on your mind. Of course, Ricky's no stranger to controversy. His unfiltered critiques often stir the pot, especially among those deeply entrenched in the very movements he criticizes. But here's the thing. He doesn't care. Criticism just rolls off his back like water off a duck, and he's made it clear that nothing, no backlash, no angry mobs, will ever stop him from speaking his mind. Take the Supernature special that dropped.
Be woke from now on. It's about time. Well, I'm sorry. Well, I am woke, and now I'm woke. The first thing I've got to do is change my Twitter bio. Because at the moment, it's like a list of the shows I've created. But now I'm woke, I've got to pop in the word anti-fascist.
Big backlash, for sure. People were up in arms, saying, "You can't say that." But for Ricky, it's always been about honesty and humor. He's going to call out what he sees, no matter who gets offended. One of the most controversial moments in his career came when he dead-named Caitlyn Jenner, something that sparked a firestorm. For anyone who doesn't know, dead-naming is when you refer to a transgender person by their pre-transition name. It's considered disrespectful by some, but Ricky? He wasn't backing down. He had a simple, tongue-in-cheek take on it. I didn't know what dead-naming was until a day after the Golden Globes. And I've got to tell you, I saw
a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you? So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the...
It was everywhere. Ricky's confusion wasn't about being disrespectful. It was about the idea that someone's entire past could be erased just to fit a certain narrative. He's more than willing to learn, but when it comes to the idea of pretending the past never happened, well, let's just say he's not on board Ricky on Bruce and Caitlyn Jenner. Ricky can't wrap his head around the idea that Bruce Jenner's history should be erased, especially when he was a global icon for nearly 6 decades.
I'm not tweeting anyone, I'm just tweeting, okay? I don't know who's following me. I've got 12 million followers. I don't know who's following me. They can be following me without me knowing, right? Choose to read my tweet and then take that personally. That's like going into a town square, seeing a big notice board, and there's a notice, guitar lessons, and you go, but I don't fucking want guitar lessons.
Jenner's current identity, but the demand to pretend Bruce's past never existed? That just doesn't make sense to him. As always, Ricky's sarcasm is on full display, making his point both hilarious and thought-provoking. I've learned my lesson, Ricky jokes. I'm woke now, I really am. It's time to change my Twitter bio. At the moment, it just says a list of shows I've worked on, but now that I'm woke, I've got to add anti-fascist, so people know I'm really on the side of the right. He laughs, but there's a deeper critique.
You're telling me how you feel. What? I want to say why. Why? And I'll explain to them. I'm willing to explain to them why the joke isn't offensive. I'm not one of the people that think, I'm going to say what I want, I'm going to be as offensive.
Culture has become a tool for self-promotion rather than genuine activism. To Ricky, woke culture often claims to be all about supporting minorities, but more often than not, it feels like it's just a way for people to boost their own self-importance. He's frustrated by how quickly any dissenting opinions are shut down. Disagree with the woke crowd? Prepare to be labeled, criticized, or even silenced. For Ricky, that's a real issue, and it's one he continually mocks with his trademark humor. He gives a perfect example of the hypocrisy.
It's offence is about feelings, and feelings are personal. Some people are offended by equality. So what? So you can't second guess people. If you try and please everyone, you'll please no one. With comedy as well, I think you've got to deal with taboos and contentious issues, and sometimes you deal in irony, and some people don't get that. But, you can't legislate against stupidity, otherwise you'll be doing nothing. So
it's a perfect example of the hypocrisy. You say you're woke, but look at the companies you're working for: Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS started a streaming service, I bet you'd be calling your agent, right? Hypocrisy much. And, of course, when celebrities win awards, Ricky's not shy about saying, if you win tonight, don't turn it into a political speech. You're in no position to lecture anyone. Stick to what you do best. Entertain.
No, you don't, do you?
You think Steve Carell did it all? Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he, Steve Carell? He's amazing as the bumbling office manager. Where does he get his ideas from?